On May 25th, 2021. May I have a roll call, please?
County Commissioners Octor, Bartlett,
Here.
Best, Duffy,
Here.
Here.
Lazara,
Here.
Deputy Director James,
Here.
Director Lapore.
Here. I have the announcement of the open public meeting law.
Ladies and gentlemen, the notice requirement of the Open Public Meetings Law has been satisfied with respect to this meeting, specifying the time, date, and location, including the annual notice adopted at the reorganization meeting filed with the county clerk, posted in the administration building, and mailed to 2 newspapers in accordance with the provisions of the law.
Please stand for the invocation.
O God, who provides for thy people by thy power and rules over them in love, be gracious enough to bless thy servants, our county commissioners in the county of Passaic, that thy people may dwell in peace and safety through our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Commissioner Duffy, please lead us in the pledge.
To the flag
of the United States
of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible,
liberty and justice.
all.
Please remain standing. Moment of silence. Remember all the men and women who have died while serving the United States Armed Forces, and also those who have died in Passaic County from COVID-19, which is now the number over 1,700. And in addition, tragically, we lost one of our sheriff's officers, Captain Diego Padilla, passed away this week. Please keep their family in your thoughts. Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the minutes? So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Duffy, second by Deputy Director James. Roll call. Roll call.
I apologize. You think I would figure it out by now. County Commissioners Octor,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Duffy,
Yes.
Lazara,
Yes.
Deputy Director James,
Yes.
Director Lapore.
Yes. Approval for proclamations 1, 2, and 3. Motion made by Commissioner Duffy,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bartlett. Roll call.
County Commissioners Octor,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Duffy,
Yes.
Lazara,
Yes.
Deputy Director James,
Yes.
Director Lapore.
Yes, I just want to mention the 3 proclamations. One has to do with recognizing Diana C. Labasco in her retirement from Passaic County Technical Vocational School as the Chief School Administrator. Second, the Passaic County Board of Commissioners would like to recognize the month of May as Drug Court Month for their continued success on restoring lives and families through their treatments. And finally, the Board of Commissioners would like to recognize Frank Petriello, who has celebrated his 100th birthday. Happy birthday, Frank. Administrators report.
Thank you, Director. We're going to start with our Asian American Pacific History Month, Recognition Month. I think we have, well, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Bartlett to say a few words, and then I believe we have a video.
Thank you, Anthony. Yeah. Well, last year, of course, May 2020 was no time for commemorating anything. So we skipped an annual tradition that we've had for almost a decade now, which is recognizing May as Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. And although we can't come together and we can't deliver proclamations we have to so many people, it's a great time to think about it. Unfortunately, in this past year, we lost Ansar Ahmed from the Bengali community in Patterson, who was one of our very first honorees. But on the flip side, Ed Keel, whom we recognize, an attorney from the Korean American community in Wayne, is now a federal judge here in New Jersey. So the stories keep getting written, and I had the privilege of seeing a couple of days ago a short video that Governor Murphy's office prepared to recognize this Heritage Month. Those of you who have been with us for a while will recognize at least one familiar face, but I wanted to share it with everyone as our simple way of commemorating Asian Pacific American Heritage Month and all that those diverse communities bring to us here in Passaic County. So Micah has the video, and I'll let him roll it.
All right, well done, Commissioner Bartlett.
I can't take much credit for it, although I'm married to one of the people in the video.
You go home.
With that, actually, I was the cameraman. So with that, Anthony, Director, back to you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And hopefully next year we're back and we do these things right. All right, so we have Dr. Gungill, I believe is still here, and she will give us our COVID-19 update.
I'm still here.
You're still here, Dr. Gungill?
I am.
A great smile, doesn't she?
Can see it now without the mask. Hey.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. And Micah, as soon as you're ready. Thank you. All right, so let's go to the next slide. This is day 437. We have had over 65,000 cases in Passaic County, and from the last presentation 2 weeks ago, we added 443 cases. And that's really stunning because we were adding upwards of a couple of thousand a day. So we're really doing a lot better in terms of cases. And that's a breakdown by variants. And you've seen a dramatic increase from 2 weeks ago when we had much less variants. And that is that they are finally getting to include all of the data for the variants. And so the number has increased. And we're looking at that to try to understand, who's protected, what are we protected from, and what do we need to do in terms of other measures. And by far, the UK variant is still the predominant variant in Passaic County. Next slide, please. All right, so deaths, we unfortunately 25 more residents have died of COVID-19, but again, the numbers are still much lower than they have been. Our daily positivity rate is 3.36, the lowest in 7 months. Again, major, major difference. The multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children, you're seeing a +2, but here is the thing. Again, they're going back in their data and cleaning data, and so they found 2 more cases that were of Passaic County residents. So it doesn't mean that it just happened. It means that it just was presented to the state in terms of data. But all of the children in Passaic County who tested positive for this, they were all hospitalized, and that's throughout the state. They all have been released from the hospital and are doing well. Next slide, please. All right, so this is I asked my epi to create this slide to show you in a snapshot the mortality report in terms of time. So on the left side, it shows the annual causes of death for the last 10 years, for which we have complete data. There's a data point there that we're actually researching, and that is the jump around 2016. That's a tremendous increase in cases, in deaths. And so we're looking to see if that's opioid or what does it actually mean. So I don't have that information for you. But the one on the right is the one that I wanted you to look at. So if you start from the bottom, the COVID deaths is that deep burgundy color. And so you can see how it increased dramatically last year as this thing started. But here is the thing at the bottom, and you've seen the data forever, but you could see on the right of that, October, November, December, as we started to get back, together, opening things up, the number of deaths have increased, but it's still nowhere near what it was when this outbreak began last year. The orangish line shows the non-COVID deaths. So this is what people were dying from alone. And then the dark blue or green, I can't really tell, that the tallest one is a combination of Passaic County residents who died in the year 2020 of all causes of death. So when you add COVID-19, you could see how dramatically it changed the deaths in Passaic County. Again, the orange one is the non-COVID deaths. So when we never heard of COVID before, if we hadn't heard of COVID, that's the number of people who died of all other causes in Passaic County. So I thought that was startling, and so I wanted to share that with you. Next slide, please. All right, so this slide is our epi curve, and you've seen it many times, and he just is trying to make it a little bit more interesting. But this is what we look like for 15 months now. Next slide, please. This is the percent positivity. You can see we're trending down since around March, and so that's exciting because maybe we'll get back to normal, whatever normalcy is going to be. Next slide, please. All right, a little bit busy, but I didn't want to break it up. So on your far left is showing from Passaic County Health clinics, vaccination clinics. We have vaccinated over 58,000, we have administered over 58,000 doses. And that does not count what we're doing today. In the center, you can see the breakdown by age. Again, we have shown that a lot of our seniors, we make sure that we're reaching that population because they're the most vulnerable. On the bottom, the burgundy pie is showing that from our vaccination clinics that Passaic County is doing, 84% of people who are vaccinated are residents of Passaic County, and that has been consistently in the 80s. So I think this is the highest number it's been so far. And in the bottom right, this is a New Jersey Department of Health dose adherence goal. It means that people who are coming for the second dose, they expect all of us to be able to get about, over 90% of them back. And I'm proud to say that Passaic County, it has about a 96% completion rate. And from 2 weeks ago, that has increased from 94 to 96. So, keep our fingers crossed. People are coming back to get their second shots, which means that they're fully vaccinated. Next slide, please. All right, so again, this is our clinics, and this is the breakdown of who we're taking care of at our clinics. Asian American Month, 70%, 7% of people who receive their vaccines from us self-identify as Asian American, 4.1% as Black or African American, and that has increased 0.1%. And then there are others who don't identify with any of the categories provided. Next slide, please. This slide is it's just showing you our vaccination clinics, how many people. This represents number of persons that we vaccinated. And you could see how the vaccinations have declined. When you see small numbers, they may represent homebound visits or small pop-up clinics, and we're doing a lot more of those. We don't do many on the same day because obviously we don't have the resources, but we're really getting in there and trying to get people who would otherwise be unable to come to Models. Next slide, please. This is what the vaccination clinics data look like in terms of first, second, and total doses. And that has, you've seen the numbers, so we're getting there, and we're very proud of the work we're doing. Next slide, please. This is a breakdown, and this is for the entire Passaic County, all vaccinators, all health departments, hospital, doctors' offices, anyone who is vaccinating in Passaic County. This data represents the work that everyone is doing. So in Passaic County, there were over 420 doses administered, and this is a breakdown by gender and age and ethnicity. Again, this is throughout Passaic County. Next slide, please. This is a new report that the state is providing, and it is the long-term care and assisted living vaccination report. And this is a cumulative data for both the residents who live there and the staff members. So when you look at it in that way, you could see that, for each municipality that has either a long-term care or an assisted living or both, and when they do the analysis, this is what the state is providing, I believe, on their dashboard. What it does not, and the numbers are very good. I mean, we only have in the city of Passaic and the city of Patterson, only in those environments is there less than 70% vaccination rates. What it doesn't show, and I spoke to my epi later because I wanted him to separate out, but it's a manual task, to separate out residents from employees, because that data is really the critical piece, and you could know what's going on in that facility. But this is the overall look of those long-term care and assisted living persons. Next slide, please. All right, so this is the report we started to get about a month or so ago from the state. And on this slide, you're seeing a comparison from 1 week to the next in terms of vaccinations. And I truncated it so that we can only see some information that I think is most relevant. So let's take Bloomingdale, for example. On May 14th, and the state and the feds also look at one dose received by the adult population. That obviously is going to change as the 12 to 15 are able to be vaccinated. And then when the 12 to 18 are going to be vaccinated, it's going to, we're going to have different slides. But for the adult population, who've been vaccinated based on the population of that municipality. So let's start with Bloomingdale. May 14th, 62% of the adult population had received at least one dose of whichever vaccine it is. A week later, you can see Bloomingdale, 63%. So it went up 1 percentage point, which is good. It's moving. It's not stagnant. Clifton City, you see it goes from 64 to 65%. Let's take Hilden. Hilden went from 58 to 59% in 1 week. The city of Patterson went from 52 to 55%. I'm happy to say that Wayne Township went from 68 to 70% of their adult population being vaccinated. So, I mean, Passaic County as a whole, when you look at the right side of the slide, at least one dose, and you take a glance at the municipalities, most municipality in Passaic County are in the 60s. So, like Woodland Park, 67, West Milford, 60, Wanacue, 65, Total was 62. So everyone is getting to the point where, we're getting to the point of herd immunity. And I think that that's very encouraging. And I do believe that if we did not have that little pause in the J&J, that we would have already exceeded these numbers. Anyway, next slide, please. All right. So what does that mean? How are we doing in terms of the 70% of the adult population? Well, we're getting there. 194, 421 adults in Passaic County have been vaccinated with at least one vaccine. So we're 73% there, right? So we have 27% to go to get to 70% of the adult residents in Passaic County. So that's why we're doing all kinds of different ways to try to get, one at a time. We will get there, but the task is a little bit more arduous now. Next
Dr.
slide.
Cungill,
Yeah,
if I could interrupt, so the 192,000 are first doses, or I'm
100
sorry, fully vaccinated, right?
194 represents, no, at least one dose.
Correct, but so say that again, I'm sorry, the
At
194.
least, at least one dose. At least one dose.
So I thought that we had 244,000 residents who have received at least one dose. I'm sorry, I'm going off the top of my head here. I thought that that's what I saw on the Department of Health website today. Is that do I have it mixed up?
Yeah, no, I do. You are right, sir. You like the sound of that. 194 are fully vaccinated.
194, and there's 244,000 that are
At
that
least
at
one
least
dose.
receive one.
Yes.
So, in theory, assuming that everyone goes back for their second dose, at some point in time, we know we're at least going to be at 244,000 that have been fully vaccinated out of the 267,000, which is our goal. So we're relatively close. I understand we have a ways to go, but
we're getting there. Yes.
right, because the goal is 267,000 residents to be fully vaccinated.
That's the goal.
Okay.
Yes. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, with the with the J&Js, many people were waiting for the one dose vaccine, and I think really, our demand for that has really gone down dramatically. But there are some that are still wanting it. We were allotted vaccines for the homebound to be the J&J, and now many of the homebound people are saying no, they don't want it anymore, but they will take the Moderna. So, for example, yesterday we did 3 and 4. We did 7 homebound. 3 of them got J&J and 4 got Moderna. And that's what we're seeing, just a little bit at a time. But it means that we have to go back to get those individuals who wanted the Moderna.
Correct, but I think a better way to look at this is we have 244,000 plus residents that have received one vaccine, assuming, we're at the 95, 96% of people coming back for a second shot, that we will be close to our goal in some short period of time, right? Within 30 days,
Sure.
we should have 244,000 people who have received their second dose. And then, of course, those who are receiving their first dose in that same 30-day period.
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you. All right, the next slide, please. I believe we're, and this slide is just, to show you what we're doing, where we're doing it. We actually changed one of these bullet points, but we're all over the place. I think I told you about the Mexican consulate. We had 2 clinics at one of our corporate partners this past weekend, and it was pretty successful. We did 27 people in 2 days, and they were all workers there. So we're getting essential personnel who will not have the time to come to our clinics that run from 9 to 2 or 9 to 6. We went to Oasis. We were in Patterson, the Patterson Task Force. So we're basically going everywhere that somebody has said that, they have people and they want to be vaccinated. We try to work it out so that we can get someone there and help them out and further our cause to get as many of us vaccinated as possible. Next slide, please. I believe that's the last slide. There you go. So it's, we still need to get vaccinated. We still need to, there's a whole discussion on masks right now, but Passaic County we're on our way, and I believe that we'll get there. The goal was to get there by July 1st, and hopefully we will be able to reach that goal. That's my presentation today.
Thank you, Dr. Gill.
You're welcome.
And I know we all say it, and I know we all have said it many times over the last 15 months, but, Dr. Gungil, you've done a terrific job handling this COVID crisis. I couldn't imagine getting through this without you and your staff and your team. It's been fantastic, and I think those numbers and your presentation shows the success, and not only here, but partnering with all of the other health officers throughout the county. You have a great relationship not only here in Passaic County with your fellow health officers, but throughout the state of New Jersey. So again, Dr. Gungil, thank you for everything that you have done, continue to do. And she's taking a well-deserved vacation. Hasn't taken much time off, so she is taking a well-deserved vacation. We'll miss you. Hurry back.
Thank you.
But keep your phone off while you're away.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
That concludes my administrator's report, Director.
Joined many of us at the Highlands Preserve Athletic Field ribbon cutting ceremony past Thursday morning. Deputy Director, would you like to say a few words on that?
I'm sorry, you know what? I just got a text as you said that, so I was distracted. What did you ask me?
Some comments on the Highlands Preserve ribbon cutting we attended Thursday.
Oh, it's a field that the county has redone. They've actually improved that park. We had the mayor and some council people from West Milford there. A whole bunch of staff from Camp Hope were there because it wasn't far. So it was like a barbecue. But it's an impressive ball fields, an impressive park. There's a playground along with the ball fields, fenced in. It's absolutely gorgeous. And that's what happens when the county gets a hold of something and has our great staff and great people who work on it, and parks get improved. And it's going to be heavily used by the people in West Milford and anybody else who cares to go up there to rent the field. But it's really well done, and I think Daryl and the entire department that worked on these things should be complimented. Again, we have the best staff that you could possibly have on these projects.
Commissioner Lazara, you want to add anything? You were there also.
I sure do. You know, when we got up to the fields that day, you can see that all the ball fields are enclosed with a chain link fence for safety. The walking paths are macadam, and it's great for walking around and through the fields. And the parking lot was extended with new lines put in for parking. You could see that such pride in what was done up there, especially considering all the people that took a hand in it. And it's just a remarkable facility for kids. And moving forward, I think the township of West Milford's really going to put it to good use.
Yes. Commissioner Duffy, that's your home base there. Any comments?
Thank you, Director. Being a resident of West Milford for almost 40 years, I've seen that field at its worst. And then when we took it over, it was nothing. My 4 children all played on that field. It was nothing but gravel and dirt, no grass. We transformed that field into a first-class utility field for the whole town and county. Really is remarkable at what our staff did. If you look at it 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and I know the town gave us a little bit of a pushback about taking it over. You were involved in it. Everyone was involved. We tried to explain to them that we could do this job. We could do better than the municipal township because we have the more resources. And we proved them right, and they admitted that. The Councilman McGinnis was the first one. If you recall, Anthony, he was at our office multiple times. I also had the opportunity to go with the mayor, say the day before, to Robert Clemente Park, opening that with the open space money. So we're utilizing all that, and we're working with the municipalities. And initially, they don't want to give up something they think they own. The county owns it, but we do it for the best of the whole county, not just for West Milford, but for the whole county. So, and I'm pleased and honored to be a small part of that. Thank you, Director.
All right, Commissioner Bartlett, you have a little interesting tidbit to add, don't you?
You know, I really wanted to see the trails through the woods. So for those of you, a couple of folks on the meeting, I know weren't there, a bit of a miscommunication about where to park for me. But it was actually a chance for me to see not only you know, the wonderful natural space that we have up there and all the trails through the woods, but also to sort of come out of those woods into this open space where now there's a playground and a sun shelter and multiple baseball fields, and really, you know, be impressed by the fact that we can simultaneously preserve some of our wonderful unspoiled open space, you know, complete with the ticks and the scratches that I got and all of that, you know, but also provide space where families can bring their children. I talked to a couple of West Milford families who were out there with us that day, had brought their kids out to play on that brand new playground equipment. And you know, I think Terry said it very well. It's an example of what we can do with the resources that we're able to bring to bear, and, you know, simultaneously preserve wonderful unspoiled open space, and also provide space for children and families to do the recreation that we all enjoy.
Yes, and thank you. Commissioner Assad, I left rather early. I don't know if you had the ability to get up there and see the work that we're all very proud of.
I did not. Unfortunately, I didn't. But it doesn't surprise me. You know, there's so many projects that we're working on, and as someone who's been on the Open Space Committee, you know, there's so much good work going around this county that we're a part of, either directly or supporting. That you know, really fills. I think it fills us all with pride. So congratulations to all that were involved in this project.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I just want to add a shout out to the Sheriff's Department who assisted the Public Works folks and the Parks folks and Camp Hope. And also, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge Lou Imhoff and Neela from the Administrator's Office, who helped put together the program and kept everybody moving in the same direction. So thank you all to a great day. Does any other commissioner have any report they'd like to submit?
Director.
Go ahead.
Sorry, did Bruce have?
First come, first serve.
Go right
Thank you.
ahead. I'll go after you if I have something.
Thank you. I hate to ask for indulgence, Director, and I wouldn't pretend that this wouldn't be the first time that I've done so. So forgive me. But you know, it's been. I want to commend Commissioner Bartlett, who has been in terms of bringing recognition for this month for Asian Pacific Islanders and in general. Obviously, I was very proud to be the first Asian American elected county office here in Passaic County, but I always point out that Commissioner Bartlett, and obviously with the huge assistance from his wife, has been an advocate for this committee for a long time. I think if you look at where Asian Americans stand in our county and in the state and in the country, it's the epitome of the success story that so many people talk about as far as coming for immigrants. But when you look at what happened in Atlanta only about a month or two ago, where people were killed for no reason other than their ethnicity and just a sickness in terms of hatred, we still have a long way to go in this country when it comes to these kinds of issues. And obviously, all of this pales in comparison to the issues we have with Black Americans and the systematic racism, institutional racism that, quite honestly, you know, I'm the son of immigrants, but I don't face some of the issues. Our Asian immigrants don't face some of the issues that Black Americans do and continue to do since time. And so it's not all the same, but we do have multiple challenges. And that leads me into talking about, it's been a very tough week, several weeks, because of the what is happening abroad in Palestine and Israel. And we're very lucky to live in a diverse community here in Passaic County. I live in the city of Patterson. We have one of the largest, most active Palestinian populations. Northern New Jersey and New Jersey alone has welcomed the Jewish people for over 100 years and more into this area. And again, I'd say both communities are great examples of the dream of immigration and what it's done for this country. But there has been a lot of lives lost. I've heard from a lot of Palestinians. My own freeholder aide, Shalita, who's a good man with a good family, his wife's cousin, who was not even 20 years old, was killed while protesting, shot in the stomach, his life gone. And so these issues are very complicated, very difficult. And when you see loss of life, and you may even have relatives or you may have people, and it is heated, and there is no doubt that there is a place in our country for debate, for free speech, and for disagreement, even strong disagreement. But when I see the reports in New York, where there was, you know, on the Eid prayer, there was a mosque defaced. They came for Eid prayer on the holiday, and there was a mosque defaced saying "Kill all Palestinians." And when I see the report that there were 2 Orthodox students surrounded by protesters or supposed protesters and told to chant anti-Semitic chants, otherwise they'd get beat up. And when they refused, they were attacked. And luckily, they were actually saved by a Muslim Uber driver. So my point in just bringing this up, I felt a responsibility to say we are lucky. I have not heard any reports so far that I know of in Passaic County or New Jersey in general, and I hope we don't. But I want to make very clear that there is just no room whatsoever, regardless of the issue, regardless of how heated, no matter how important this is, for violence or intimidation, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, any of it. There can be no justification room for any of it. You know, I think it's just a responsibility incumbent to point out the rise in anti-Semitic attacks and some of the language around this. We can't let that create, you know, criminal activity here. So I want to leave it at that, but I thank you for the indulgence, Director.
Thank you, Commissioner. Deputy Director, you have some?
No, not at this point. Thanks, Pat.
Okay. Any other commissioner have anything to add? Okay. Well,
Director, yeah, you left me out on the Highlands conversation there, but
Yeah, TJ brought the family.
I came with my daughter. I had to take her out of school a little early. I want to say we played hooky, but this was educational and recreation.
See, I apologize, and we ate together, right?
I know. I was like, thanks a lot, Pat. But
I always miss the ones you love, I'll tell you.
I tell you, not just and everybody talked about the park and how amazing it was, but we actually got a chance after visiting the park to go over to Camp Hope, and we went with our new deputy county administrator along with our clerk to the board. It was our deputy's first time there, and a West Milford resident, Jamie Dykes, who's the longtime director of the Greater Patterson Chamber of Commerce, who lives in West Milford but never been to the park. So he told me next time I'm in town, make sure I take him over there. And I mean, just the history that's at Camp Hope. I was a resident there, a student way back when, a camper. And I'm really excited about Carrie, who is our new parks director. I'm sorry, our new recreation director, and the ideas and the plans that he has for that. So I just want to inform the public at large that Camp Hope is a public park. It is part of our park system. You can utilize the facilities. You can utilize the basketball court. You can utilize the pavilion for a graduation party, a wedding reception, family reunion. So just please make sure that you visit our recreation department's website, and make sure you take full advantage of all of the resources we have, especially Camp Hope, which is a great gem in our county. Thanks, Pat.
Thank you. And I come to realize I skipped purposely so that you could put that whole thing together, give you time to think about it. But thanks again. What do we have next?
Director, if I may, just before you move on, just a couple of things. One, I do want to thank Mayor Dale and the Council of West Milford for being supportive of everything that we did up at the Highlands. And I think Commissioner Duffy had mentioned early on there was some hesitation. I know former Councilman McGinnis who was very active in recreation up there, had concerns about the availability of the fields and the costs. And I happened to run into him waiting for a table at dinner, and he came up to me to tell me what a beautiful job that the county did, and that it really looks fantastic. So again, to Mayor Dale, she's been a great partner in everything that we do up there. So I did want to thank her. And just kind of a West Milford theme on the resolution today, resolution number 27, is a resolution that will change the name of the Butler Reservoir in Nashua Preserve to the Kathleen Karen Memorial Reservoir. So we worked closely with her family to come up with something that would be appropriate for all the years of dedication that she gave to the residents of the county. And this was something that we thought would be an appropriate thing to do in her memory. She obviously loved what she did. She was passionate about preserving open space. So resolution 27 will authorize that. And at some later point in the year, we will have a formal ceremony and an unveiling as well. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity.
Thank you, Anthony. Everyone done? Okay. Communications, we have none. Take a motion to open the public portion of the meeting. Motion made by Commissioner Duffy. Second by Commissioner Bartlett. Roll call.
County Commissioners Actor,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Duffy,
Yes.
Lazara,
Yes.
Deputy Director James,
Yes.
Director Lapore.
Yes, any from the public wishing to be heard? There are various ways to communicate it. At this time, I'll turn it over to our clerk, Lou Emhoff.
Okay, Director, actually, our county administrator is assisting with two emails that came through at public@PassaiCountyNJ.org. If Administrator, if you could read those, please.
Sir, you are muted. Mr. DeNova, you are presently muted.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Micah. The first one is from Laura Ashani. Forgive me if I mispronounced that. 32 Hopler Place, Newfoundland, New Jersey. I'm writing you as a resident of Newfoundland, West Milford. As you may or may not be aware, there is a planned natural gas compressor station owned by the Kinder Morgan Tennessee Gas Pipeline Company, scheduled to be placed in our town on Burnt Meadow Road. The station and the approvals worked their way through the federal government quickly and quietly during the pandemic, using a loophole to get it approved from the Highlands Commission. The station will be used to carry fracked gas to people in Westchester County and will not benefit anyone in New Jersey. The station will be hooked up to loops of pipes that were built in 2011, but the main pipe is 65 years old, 15 years past its expected life. There have been several groups, including members of our Democratic Club, which I am a member of, attending our town meetings to urge the mayor and council to pass a resolution against the station, only to fall on deaf ears. There are many concerns about the project, including proximity of the station to the Monksville Reservoir, 1,200 feet, and the Hewitt Brook, a C1 stream, and the potential for contamination to that water source, as there will be contaminant tanks with wastewater containing toxic chemicals on the premises that could leak and contaminate not only the drinking water of the reservoir, but the well water beneath the site. Most residents of our town have private wells. Kinder Morgan Company refuses to put in plans for any monitoring wells for our safety. There are other issues, such as the facility only being manned weekdays 9 to 5. A remote team from Texas will operate the facility at other times. The risk of fire, gas leaks, and a natural gas explosion is not unheard of, and especially after the hack of the Colonial Pipeline and the aging infrastructure of the pipe itself. Kinder Morgan Company refuses to upgrade any of the 65-year-old pipe. We have asked the Kinder Morgan Company their plan for cybersecurity, and we have not gotten an answer. We asked them to have a person on site 24/7 for the safety of our town, only to get a strong no. I am writing to you to help us by signing a resolution against the project and to assist us to urge Governor Murphy to stop the project, as he is the one who has the authority to shut the project down. Please help us keep this out of the Highlands. We need to protect one of the last places in northern New Jersey that is used for our water source and enjoyed open space for our residents of our county and our state. Did you want me to read the second one now, Tulu?
Yes, please, sir.
Okay, the second email is from a Roger Agnelli. Please help us get Tennessee Gas to move the proposed compressed gas turbine further east than the proposed site. It appears that many of the Highlands, Green Acres, wetland protections set up by the federal and state governments are going to be bypassed to allow a definitely questionable project in this environmentally sensitive area. This is the East 300 Upgrade Project, FERC document CS20-493-000. According to Tennessee Gas, their compression stations can be from 40 to 100 miles apart. Moving the CS327 compressor to Westchester, New York, would be within their own best interest and within the limits of the separation of pumping stations. This would preserve our water, wetlands, animal habitats from potable contamination. The West Milford site is on Highlands Preservation Area that provides water to more than half of the state of New Jersey's drinking water for over 3 million state residents. It's next to the two largest reservoirs, a protected wetlands and Category 1 exceptional value stream, Hewitt Brook, that feeds directly into the Monksville Reservoir. Tennessee Gas has had 111 significant incidents, resulting in close to $90 million in damages and federal enforcement from 2006 to 2017. And such incidents may escalate as their pipeline is aged, 65 years old. The project calls for increasing by 3 times the pressure at the Wantage site, CS325, while adding an unneeded and strongly opposed new CS327 compressor in West Milford, New Jersey. The possibilities of the old pipeline to contain 3 times the pressure is questionable and frankly scares me and many others. If this project is allowed to go forward, it will lead to groundwater pollution, including methane gas, 2.3 million metric tons of carbon dioxide, and then there's the noise. How can Tennessee Gas continue to attempt to exclude itself and this project from the Highlands Preservation Act? Question marks. Please enforce the existing laws and prevent this pending catastrophic project. Thank you.
Thank you, Administrator. Let me read in 9 more emails into the record that we received at public@PassaiCountyNJ.org. This letter comes from Eileen Curran. I urge the county to come up with a resolution to oppose the construction of the electric run gas compressor on Burt Meadow Road in West Milford. An additional construction to the Wantage, New Jersey compressor. Please join with the majority of the people in this county who want the governor to place an emergency moratorium on all new fossil fuel projects in our state. At a time when people in New Jersey should be focused on finding more renewable, cleaner sources of energy, the last thing we need is investiture in more dirty fossil fuel projects. It is my fear that once this compressor is in, it will be a gateway to similar projects in the area, a distraction to our goal of 100% clean energy for our future. I respectfully urge that you do this before the project gets started, before the damage is done. Eileen Curran, Hewitt, New Jersey. This message comes from Jeff Rappaport from Wayne, a resident of Passaic County in Wayne, New Jersey. I would like to voice my concern on the potential effects of our water due to chemicals use and possible spillage into our streams and reservoir. The Kinder Morgan reps did little to deflect my fears during their 2-hour PR presentations in which written questions were required. I felt very hollow. Please pass resolution opposing the compressor station builds. We are asked to take all the risk with no benefits in Wayne. This comes from Barbara Stober from Wayne, New Jersey. Dear Commissioners, as a resident of Passaic County for the past 57 years, I'm concerned about yet another fossil fuel project being proposed in our state. This time, Tennessee Gas Pipeline compressor station in New Jersey. With the pipeline projects like these running rampant through our state, some of which have absolutely no benefit to New Jersey, the effects leave a chilling effect on our residents and their future. The push to continue to the expansion of natural gas, a fossil fuel that has been linked to climate change, air and water pollution, as well as destruction of pristine environments like West Milford, is unconscionable. Add to this noise pollution, which is separable from the function of the compressor station, and Tennessee Gas Pipeline's environmental track record in Lake Lookover in Hewitt and Barefoot Waters in West Milford. It is more important than ever to stop this expansion project. We can possibly justify, how can we possibly justify the immoral act when New Jersey already has over 1,500 miles of pipeline, despite the fact that it is 47th in size and #1 in population density? You may look at West Milford and see a beauty and abundance of space we experience, but realize that the pipeline explosion could change serenity overnight. Even without an increased emissions from the compressor station, the ozone pollution in our state ranks among the worst in the nation, and the rivers and streams in the West Milford support drinking water to millions of New Jersey residents, including the residents of Passaic County. New Jersey continues to be the butt of so many jokes around the country. We are home to the largest number of Superfund sites, 118 at last count. Since 1895, an average temperature has risen by almost 3.6 Fahrenheit, double the average of other lower 48 states. Apparently, that is not enough. We want to be #1 in the number of pipeline projects crisscrossing our state and continue the expansion of fossil fuels now for the benefit of Westchester County, tomorrow to increase our efforts of frack gas. How can our state possibly justify the expansion of new fossil fuel infrastructure when the New Jersey Master Energy Plan states that greenhouse gases must be reduced? I implore to get our Governor Murphy on board and stop this project. As elected guardians of our welfare, please take this to heart and do the right thing. This email comes from Charles Nuzio of Lincoln Park. As a member of the Franciscan response, Franciscan response to fossil fuels, a faith-based group, I urge you to reject the project TGB expansion project compressor station in West Milford. Recently, a couple I know with small children were looking to buy a house in West Milford, but when they found out that the potential compressor station in town with its air, land, and water impacts, they decided to look elsewhere. Such projects are not only wrong for our environment, but disastrous on real estate values. This email comes from Mary Ellen and Paul Tashima. Topic, stop the compressor station in Passaic County, West Milford, and Tennessee gas pipeline. My family has been hiking in Passaic County in the West Milford woods and enjoying the Monksville Reservoir area for years, both on and off the water. We love the clean air, water, and forest. We are concerned with the environment in North Jersey and the beloved wooded areas. We're especially concerned about the compressor stations proposed by the TGP company. The track record of the Tennessee Gas Pipeline Company is poor. Last decade, the TGP company caused significant damage to Passaic County when constructing 300 line project. There was significant damage to Lake Lookover and Barefoot Waters in West Milford, which included a situation and destruction of waterways through mudslides, which increased flooding and impact residents' drinking wells. TGP was to plant 2,500 trees because of clear cutting for the project. TGP planted 200 trees. Other problems of remediation have still not been addressed. We cannot trust TGP company to repair damage or even monitor adequately the pipeline if there was leakage from the pipeline. The TGP company is proposing to have the compressor station monitored remotely from Texas with only one worker on site during daytime hours. What are local responders to do if there is a catastrophic leak or an explosion or a fire? TGP has no plans to respond. The proposed compressor station in West Milford is less than 2,000 feet from the Monksville Wanakee Reservoir system and right next to a Category 1 stream. If drinking water gets contaminated, what will the town do? How will it affect the residents and also home values? TGB does not have a good system for remediation. Passaic County and West Milford will foot the bills. This is being considered in a time when there should be putting money into clean renewable infrastructure. A resolution should be passed against the dangerous polluting project. I'm calling on the Passaic County Commissioners to stand up for the residents of the New Jersey residents, and for the environment. This email comes from Terry Millen. My name is Terry Millen. I live in West Milford on 25 Pawnee Terrace. I have lived in the town for 18 years. I'm against building the compressor station, and I'm saddened and shocked that the town council is not opposing the project. There are many reasons why I oppose it, but I will speak on one that is safety. TGB plans only one employee on site on Burnt Meadow Road. Our town does not have a specialized training in this regard should there be a fire, which can happen. They have no evacuation plan. There are homeowners, businesses, and a Bible camp on the road. What will happen should there be an emergency? There is also no exit. It is one in and the same way out. The firefighter, this is frightening to me and foolish not to care for the citizens of this beautiful town. This message comes from Luke Slot from Hewitt, to whom it concerns for tonight's meeting regarding resolution opposing the Tennessee Pipeline proposed compressor station. This message comes from Robin Rose Bennett. Stop the plan in Hewitt, New Jersey. Stop the plan for the proposed gas compressor station in West Milford, New Jersey. First, I want to thank you, the commissioners, for your public service. The residents of West Milford have spoken again and again at our town council meetings to state that many reasons we do not want this gas compression station built. The reasons to our the threats to our health and to the health of our land, air, water, and wildlife, as well as documented and deeply troubling. Our town council has turned a deaf ear to the concerns of the people that they were elected to represent, unlike the 5 surrounding town councils who have passed resolutions opposing the ill-advised and potentially disastrous project. The first time I attended a meeting, the public comment period lasted for 2.5 hours on this issue, with only one call in favor of the project. We ask that you back us in urging Governor Murphy to deny exemption to the Highlands Act and to cancel this project before it begins. He says he's committed to green renewable energies. A station designed to send fracked gas through aging pipelines is a walk in the opposite direction, guaranteed to become obsolete sooner than later. We must not let this happen. My name is Carl Stell, and I'm a resident of Hewitt for the past 51 years. I am here to state to the board about my opposing the proposed compressor station by the Tennessee Gas Pipeline. The primary reason for the rejection, the compressor station is a source pollution in the form of methane gas, and it produces extraction frac gas from the earth. Methane gas is the byproduct of natural gas and is 21 more times lethal and a threat to trapping gas in the atmosphere than more publicized carbon dioxide. This source pollution, methane gas, from oil to natural gas emissions is far higher than the Environmental Protection Agency was aware of until recently. The TGB representatives refused to address any concerns of methane gas as a source of pollution and major contributor of climate change. The residents of West Milford take seriously Governor Phil Murphy's bold executive order number 28, and his ambitious goal of 100% clean energy by 2050. The source pollution of methane gas is incomprehensible with Governor Murphy's executive order 28. In New Jersey, in Tuesday's May 18, 2021 edition of the New York Times, the caption reads, "The World Energy Body warns that nations must slash use of fossil fuels fast." One of the takeaways is that 2025 governments worldwide would start banning the sale of new oil and gas furnaces to heat buildings. To the 400,000 residents of Westchester County in need of energy, may I offer our personal story. Since installing solar in our home in September 2015, our electric bills averaged $7.41 a month. In addition, in the past 6 years, we have earned $2,434.50 from solar credits that have been deposited directly into our checking account. This is the type of clean energy people of Westchester and our global citizens of the world need and deserve. Clean energy delivered courtesy of the sun, with narrowly a trace of methane gas. Director, we also have people on WebEx waiting to speak. If you share with them the 3-minute limit, and do what you usually do at the meetings.
Okay.
And Micah, you can call upon those, open those people up.
I have a submitted comment myself to read. Hello, I'm Margaret Wood, 324 Germantown Road, West Milford, New Jersey. There's a scientific paper, Michael Hendricks and Yuha Dua, The Extractive Industries and Society, https://doi.org/10.10.10.2020.04.011. They calculated the age-adjusted mortality per 100,000 people. Counties with one or more fractic gas compressor stations had 17 more deaths than the normal amount per 100,000 people per year. That's exactly 2% more deaths than normal due to the bad health effects of the compressor station. In Passaic County, New Jersey, that comes to 76.76 deaths per year, every year for the lifetime of the compressor station. If the station runs for 30 years, that's an extra 2,303 deaths in Passaic County, New Jersey alone. A 2% increase in the death rate will happen in Sussex County, New Jersey as well. Since the water from the reservoir goes to the city of Newark, I anticipate that Newark will also suffer the 2% increase in death rate. Please ask Governor Murphy to stop this. We also have some folks who have their hands raised. We are going to call on Joan O'Daly. Is there a time limit for our commenters?
3 minutes.
Three minutes is the time limit, just so everyone's aware. Ms. O'Daly, you should be able to speak now.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Forgive me, I'm totally unprepared, but I do appreciate everything that I heard from the council. And it was all good news, but from what we're faced with TGP, it is really devastating for West Milford. And to be brief and try to be concise, because I tend to be long-winded. This needs to be stopped. We need everyone's efforts to please to try to convince Governor Murphy to stop this compressor expansion. West Milford, the Westchester mayor had said that they don't need it. He had said that they don't need the expansion to be done. So why are we doing this? My question is, why was it done in the first place? West Milford is a beautiful area. Every opposing town, every town, Ringwood and so many other towns had opposed this. So why are we allowing this? Please don't let it go through. We need your help. We need, well, I was weeping while I was hearing some of these comments. So I will stop now, but thank you so much for your time, and please stop this. It's madness. It's madness. It's just 65-year-old pipe is just going to be a catastrophe.
Thank you, Ms. O'Daly. We have another comment from Melissa Brown-Blower. I'm unmuting you, ma'am, now.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Good evening, Passaic County Commissioners. I'm honored to attend tonight's meeting to speak, as the many others have, to ask you to pass a resolution standing with the many opponents of the Tennessee Gas Pipeline gas compressor station. I know a number of you on a first name basis because I've been involved as a political volunteer and municipal party co-leader in West Milford. I'm a longtime active volunteer in the township, and I moved here back in 1993 because I fell in love with the scenic beauty, bountiful outdoor recreation, and the natural wonder of the area. is very close to major economic centers, including the job I held at the time as at an ad agency in New York City. It was as close to Vermont as you could get without leaving New Jersey. West Milford remains a haven of natural beauty, lakes, and outdoor recreation that I champion in all the work I do in my 6 years as an economic development commissioner and an active township volunteer, and in championing investment in our shared green energy future in my current political campaign for New Jersey State Assembly. I oppose the expansion of fossil fuel technology, the expense of investment, and all that means to exacerbation of climate change and the pervasive climate of political dismissiveness. There are urgent imperatives to shift our technology, investment dollars, and our efforts away from natural gas and oil that pollute the atmosphere with combustion byproducts and exacerbate global warming with CO2 and methane. This compressor will be transmitting Marcellus Shale fracked gas interstate, which is known to have high levels of uranium. The company said they would post responses to concerns we expressed about this and other things such as frequent blowdowns when they need to relieve the pressure of the gas in the pipeline, but this introduces air and water pollution through the expression of that blowdown. They release gas within miles of the station. I happen to live 1 mile from the station, very close, and it's also very close to Greenwood Lake, which is an extremely popular recreation and tourism destination. I spoke at 3 separate township council meetings in February, March, asking the 6 council members to come out in support of the resolution submitted by Sustainable West Milford. It's also supported by Food and Water Watch, the Sierra Club, Franciscans Against Fossil Fuels, and other environmental and advocacy groups. We're simply asked the council to represent the voice of 99% of the callers and speakers at those many meetings, and the ones held since, who overwhelmingly are opposed to expanding this transmission of frack gas. We don't want to build out private industry in the name of a public. We don't want the build out of private industry in the name of a public utility. This is a questionable characterization since TGB is not regulated by New Jersey's Board of Public Utilities. And the intention is to expand the transmission and export of high pressure fracked gas through the heart of the highlands and New Jersey's sensitive ecologically pristine watershed. I live 1 mile from the proposed former quarry site that is next to Monksville, and I see this build out bringing long-term harm to my personal economic health via externalized cost of their operation on my residential property values. As importantly, I have been working to forward the economic future of West Milford, which is 100% in the Highlands Preservation Zone and is having difficulty with economic growth and living costs. We aim to be a recreation destination, yeah?
Could you please wrap up, ma'am?
Sure. We aim to be a recreation destination with Airbnbs, roads, and trail signage improvements, and as a haven of hiking and outdoor natural recreation and rejuvenation. Monksville is one of the most spectacular scenic areas of all of New Jersey. People come here to hike, kayak, and stand up paddleboard and fish right there. We are really asking you to help us to ask the governor to deny through the DEP the permits to allow this to happen, and to help us develop that site perhaps with green energy such as a solar farm, using the power and the resources of the state of New Jersey to help us realize that and to help establish a brand for West Milford as a recreation and tourist destination with a promising future where you can come and raise a family and your property values will increase. And our brand is one of beauty and natural recreation and a green, clean energy future. And with that, I will conclude, and I want to thank you for your time.
We have an additional comment from Samantha DeFalco. You should, ma'am, presently be unmuted.
Okay, thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, my name is Samantha DeFalco. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm speaking on behalf of the organization Food and Water Watch and our 3,500 members and supporters in Passaic County. Also want to echo the concerns of all of the residents that spoke tonight. I also wanted to challenge the reasoning for this project in the first place. It's completely out of alignment with the governor's clean energy goals to approve a major new polluter in our state, such as this compressor in Wantage, as well as that's in West Mill. This is going to put residents at risk, and all of the gas is going to an out-of-state private corporation in New York when New York's clean energy goals and commitments prioritize clean energy solutions like heat pumps and not new fossil fuels like this gas. And also, I know you all spoke earlier about this new park in the Highlands, and the Highlands is such a unique and beautiful area of our state and a resource that, everyone that lives there and everyone that, so many people from New Jersey use this for tourism and hiking and outdoor recreation. And, this is protected by the Highlands Act to preserve this for generations. And this compressor is the company Tennessee Gas Pipeline, which is part of Kinder Morgan, is seeking an exemption to the Highlands Act, exemption 11 for upgrades and maintenance. But this is not an upgrade or maintenance. This is a major expansion of fossil fuel infrastructure that's completely out of alignment with the Highlands Act that is meant to protect this region. So I would really like to encourage you all to pass a resolution and publicly oppose this compressor and call on the governor to reject the permits and shut this proposal down. Whatever tax incentives that West Milford or any other town is able to get from this project are not worth the really severe risks this brings to residents, and whatever jobs, we know that jobs are important, and we are seeing we are in a bit of an economic crisis right now, but whatever jobs that this project will make are primarily going to short-term jobs to out-of-state residents. So I would really like to encourage you to pass a resolution or otherwise call on the governor to stop this project. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have another comment from Renee Alicio. Ma'am, you can speak now.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak. First off, I want to thank you for renaming Butler Reservoir after my good friend Kathleen Karen. She probably would have been here, knowing her, she probably would have been here tonight as a West Milford resident. I and some others, as you can tell, are here tonight because we are asking Passaic County Commissioners to support us in our effort to ask Governor Murphy to stop the construction of the Tennessee Gas Pipeline project, which would expand an existing compressor station in Wantage and a new compressor station in West Milford next to a C1 stream and only 1,200 feet from the Monksville Reservoir. Although other towns, including Wantage and Ringwood, have passed resolutions opposing the compressor stations, the Township of West Milford has not passed a resolution, even though 99% of residents who have commented oppose this project. The council doesn't believe the governor can stop it and are working with TGP, even though TGP has a past history of failure to mitigate after pipeline loop installment 10 years ago. TGP has not been forthcoming in answering our questions in 2 Zoom meetings they gave, and the original pipeline still being used is 65 years old. Residents who live in towns with compressor stations oppose them because of the safety and health risks. The governor has committed to 100% clean energy by 2050. We need to hold him to his word. This can't be accomplished if new fossil fuel infrastructure that could last 30 years continues to be built. For my grandchildren's sake, we don't have time to waste. There needs to be a moratorium on all new fossil fuel infrastructure. Recently, the state of New Jersey created a draft climate change resilience strategy, but really the first priority should be to stop new projects that would add to climate change and at the same time create new energy from clean renewable sources. I sent everyone an email today, hopefully you got it. In it are links to different websites, including Stop the Compressor Station, actually stopthecompressor.org, which has informational resources on this project, TGP's record and health safety and environmental issues of compressor stations in general, and an updated resolution. as a sample. Please watch the town hall that we held a few months ago, and please check out empowernewjersey.com, which is a website that is supported by a coalition of over 120 organizations in New Jersey who support clean energy goals in New Jersey. We also don't get visits from the governor or our two senators very often in West Milford. Actually, you know, I've lived in West Milford over 40 years, and I don't really remember ever seeing many governors or states or senators visit us, even recently. Even though millions of New Jerseyans get their water from West
Ms.
Milford.
Alessio, excuse me, Ms. Alessio, we've gone way beyond our time. Could you wrap it up, please?
Yes, and our neighbor Ringwood. Maybe you can put in a good word so we can talk to them ourselves. Please be an advocate for us and ask the governor to stop this project. And by the way, my electricity bill last month was less than $6, and that's only for the service, because I have solar too. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Okay.
That is all.
That's all we have. Mm.
Okay, I'll take a motion to close the public portion.
Make that motion, close the public portion.
Second.
Made by Commissioner Duffy, second by Commissioner Octor.
Octor.
Roll call?
County Commissioners Octor,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Duffy,
Yes.
Lazara,
Yes.
Deputy Director James,
Yes.
Director Lapore.
Yes. To the members of the public who spoke, rest assured that we will let the governor's office know of the objections from the folks that spoke this evening during public portion.
Director, if I may, being a West Milford resident, may I make a comment?
Sure. You're muted.
Close by this project, been a resident of West Milford 40 years. And I was there back when this company put the initial pipeline in, and they haven't been very good neighbors. They never started to be very good neighbors. Seems West Milford gets all the risk and no rewards. Environmentally sensitive, we call this area, and we need to have transparency with this company, which I don't believe we have. The company has never been compliant, has a history of negligence. I just personally oppose this project. I'm not sure if the pipeline is 65 years old. I've heard different stories about it, but I will represent my neighbors and others who are against this project. I oppose this personally.
Thank you.
For you, Director, I sit on the Highlands Council. You know, there's things that we can do and things that we can't do legally with the council, but I absolutely support the people that spoke tonight. And I think we really do need to pass a resolution encouraging the governor to kill the project if he can. It's a dangerous thing. It's just a dangerous, Terry's right. It's a dangerous thing. It risks pollution, but it doesn't benefit New Jersey in any way whatsoever. Not at all. And fracking doesn't benefit anyone.
Through you, Director, I
I
agree with both Commissioner James and Commissioner Duffy. We need to do something to help.
Let's try. We really should try.
Okay. Anyone else?
Do we propose forming a resolution to the next meeting? Can I make that?
We could have a resolution prepared for the next meeting.
That'd be great.
Thank you.
Okay. We have a late starter, County Council?
Yep, Director, we have one late starter through you, a resolution authorizing a grant application by the County of Passaic to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Green Acres Program for the acquisition of real property located at, 335 Union Avenue, Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, Block 86, Lot 2, for incorporation into the Passaic County Park System, authorizing a public hearing on the grant application for June 22, 2021 at 6:15 p.m. in compliance with NJAC 7:36-6.2 et sec. there's no need for an executive session, just my general reminder, if there's any resolutions that need to be taken off the consent agenda for an individual vote, that the commissioners, please, they make that motion through you. Thank you.
Through the director, through you, Director. Matt, that's 48? Matthew?
Yep. Sorry, I'm just pulling it up. Yep, that's K48. My apologies.
Thanks.
No, L48.
L48. Excuse me.
Okay,
Okay, I'll take a motion to add the late starter L48 to the consent
I'll move
agenda.
it.
Moved
I'll
by
move it.
Deputy
I'll
Director.
second.
Okay,
Second.
Deputy Director James, second by Commissioner Lazara. Roll call?
County Commissioners Actor,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Duffy,
Yes.
Lazara,
Yes.
Deputy Director James,
Yes,
Director Lapore.
Yes, I'll take a motion on the consent agenda L1 to L48.
That motion, Duffy.
Motion made
Second.
by Commissioner Duffy, second by Deputy Director James. Roll call?
County Commissioners Actor,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Duffy,
Yes.
Lazara,
Yes.
Deputy Director James,
yes.
Director Lapore.
Yes, under new business, I'll take a motion on the personnel agenda.
I move the personnel agenda.
Moved
Second.
by Deputy Director James, second by Commissioner Lazara. Roll call?
County Commissioners Actor,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Duffy,
Yes.
Lazara,
Yes.
Deputy Director James,
Yes.
Director Lapore.
Yes, motion on the bills?
Move the bills list.
Motion
Second.
made by Deputy Director James, second by Commissioner Lazara. Roll call?
County Commissioners Actor,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Duffy,
Yes.
Lazara,
Yes.
Deputy Director James,
Yes.
Director Lapore.
Yes, take a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Motion made by Deputy, Commissioner Duffy, second by
Second.
Commissioner Actor. Roll call?
County Commissioners Actor,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Best,
Yes.
Duffy,
Yes.
Lazara,
Yes.
Deputy Director James,
Yes.
Director Lapore.
Yes. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Be safe.
Good night, guys.
Okay.
Good night.
Be safe. Bye, everybody.